Oh, how did that situation turn out with your daughter? How's that going?
With my son at school?
I mean, yeah, your son.
Yeah, God provided in a very big way. It was very difficult. I don't remember how much I told about it. Do you want me to give a quick recap?
Yeah.
So my son started school at the end of August, and I found out he was in a drama class. It was an elective class, and did some digging around to find out the name of the class was actually Decolonized Drama and Theatre. Got a hold of a copy of the syllabus, which had some statements about white supremacy, how the class was going to be teaching the kids to focus on the areas of theater and writing which had been suppressed by white supremacy. We were going to be de-emphasizing all of the male writers, heterosexual writers, et cetera,
Amazing.
and emphasizing the drama, theater, and writers who were coming from backgrounds, indigenous backgrounds, black backgrounds, LGBT backgrounds, women backgrounds. All of those things are going to be elevated. Everything else is going to be put down.
Right.
So I expressed to the teacher and the principal that I was not comfortable with this, and could they please let me know what the other options were for my son in this class during this time each week, something else, elective class. They tried to ignore me, tried to push me off, say that's not possible, tried to get me to talk to the person who wrote the curriculum so they could convince me of how it was all legitimate, ignoring my requests, then saying it's not possible. And so I started showing up at the school. You might know the schools are closed. LUSD schools are closed to parents. They're not allowed on the campuses.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This year.
Wow.
Not allowed. Zero.
Not on campus.
Zero. It's for our own good.
Why did they allow? I don't hear the rallies and anything against that.
I know, it's great. I've been rallying. So, I'm showing up, and I showed up to check my son out from this class, right? I did that once, and then the second time I came back to do that, they started playing games with me, started calling his mom, who I'm divorced from, and collaborating with her, and they started letting me know they were gonna potentially have to get Child Protective Services involved because I'm at school trying to pick up my son, right? Like behind the fortress. You've seen these schools, they look like prisons, right?
Yeah,
you can't even
they
get in.
do.
So they're not answering. I'm going to call box. I put in a form legitimately to check out my son. You put the form in the morning, and then you show up at the time that you say, and I show up, and they're not answering. Like I'm at the call box outside the prison, like a mile away from the office,
That's
They're
amazing,
not letting me.
man.
Yeah, they're not letting me in. So that happened a few times, and I was persistent with it, and even though they were basically trying to bully me and get me to go away, ignore me, and then make a long story short, like right after I got a recommendation from you about an attorney, the next morning, his mom sent an email to the principal saying Dad is being aggressive and threatening, so I have no choice but to agree to his demands, which is very strange.
The mother said that?
Exactly. Yeah, the mom was saying that. And so the principal, who all along had tried to deny me the ability to put him into another class, trying to make me go away and say that's not possible to do that, the mom sends an email once to the principal saying because of the dad and the way he's acting, I'm going to have to agree to get him changed into a class. And the principal, like, almost instantly said, okay, we're going to change him.
Whoa.
So God provided an alternative to not have my son in that class.
Good, man.
And I learned a lot about the system, and it's put me on a path that God has me on to continue to fight and to stand up for what's right. And when you see, the way I looked at it, I told my son, he was uncomfortable, and I said, number one, son, listen, if it's a choice between what's right and my relationship with you, I'm sorry, I got to do what's right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's what I got to do.
That's right.
And what's going on in this school is that I'm supposed to raise my kids up in the ways of the Lord, and they're raising you up against the Lord.
Yeah.
I can't let that go on. God doesn't want that. So that's
Amazing,
how it wrapped
man.
up. Man.
How old is your
Yeah.
son?
He's in 7th grade, man. 12-year-olds, they're trying to teach him this stuff.
That's
This is
12?
like college stuff, yeah. They're trying to teach him at 12 because they're trying to get to them before we get to them, right?
Yeah.
No parents would teach their
Absolutely.
kids about this stuff at this
Yeah.
age. So they want to get them in where their brain isn't ready, yeah.
That is pure evil.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I'm glad that you got involved, man.
Praise God, man. Yeah, it was good.
And it's going to be interesting to see. This may lead to something else or
Yeah,
something else.
it is.
Because I didn't know that the parents could not go on campus.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they locked all the, and they don't have any, you know how they used to have like a room mom, and you could connect with all the other parents through that or from being at the school. So they shut that down too. So the schools don't have room parents anymore. There's no way for parents to talk to each other. So they got everybody
Wow.
isolated. What they have now is these affinity, yeah, oh, nonstop. They have these affinity groups of different, parents. You want to join the Black affinity group, you want to join the Latino affinity group, you want to join the LGBT affinity group. That's how you can connect at schools, only through that route. And then for white people, y'all heard of white accountability groups? That's one of them. Seriously, at my kid's school, there's like 6 groups. The ones I just named, a white accountability, I never heard of it. I just found out about it, white accountability group. White people are supposed to hold each other accountable to be anti-racist. And that's all they do is sit around and wring their hands about how can we be anti-racist. That's what they do, emails every week.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
It's amazing that the government and the schools think they can take over your children and do what they want with them.
Yeah.
And if you complain, they can even lock them in there and keep you out.
Yeah.
The parents.
Yeah, they took our money.
That's mind-blowing.
They built the school, they took our money and wrote the textbooks, they took our money, they paid the teachers, then they make our kids go there, and then they won't let us get our kids out. This is crazy.
That's mind-blowing, man. I had no idea, though, that was happening in L.A. Well, I'm glad you got him. Are you concerned now that he's still going there, that they may try other things on him, or does he communicate with you?
It's going to be a challenge. No,
Yeah.
I mean, that put a little bit of a strain in the relationship because he's too little to understand what's going on. And so to him, it's like, oh, the teachers are going to be mad at me, the principal's going to be mad at me, and all the other kids at the school. I call it Operation Lockstep, what's going on out there, and all these little kids are in Operation Lockstep. They're all masking up nonstop. They're required to do it. The teachers do it, and
That's amazing,
it's
man.
just it's difficult. So it put a strain, but I have to stand up for what God wants, and that's what we're called to do. Jesus told us very clearly, you got to be willing to walk away from everything you love in this world, every person you love, every house you love, every job you love. You got to be willing to walk away from that.
That's right.
And that's what He
Love
calls
him
us
with
to.
all your heart, soul and might, along with nothing else. Amazing story, man.
Amen.
Men
Amen.
gotta get back involved. They gotta get involved because if they don't, it's over.
Yeah.
Satan knows that he can use the woman
Yeah.
and just control them and make them believe and do whatever he wants them to because of their relationship with him. So it comes through the woman. Look how they call your ex-wife.
Yeah.
And why didn't you're the father of the child? They didn't need to call her at all.
Yeah.
But they called the woman.
Yep, it was all women. I sad to say it, but the teacher, the principal, the assistant principal, the office manager, the former wife, they were all doing their thing. Yeah, man, and they were all speaking the same language.
Oh
too.
yeah, because they had the same daddy.
Same vocabulary, same approach. When I tried to talk to mom, I tried to talk to mom before this even started. I said, hey, let's come up with a plan here. She's like, no, you can leave me out of this. I'm not talking about this.
Whoa. Well, I'm glad it's working out.
Oh, praise God, man. Only way it could have worked out was I couldn't have figured out how this was going to work out. I just kept going, I just kept going and kept putting what was right out there, and he solved it. Amen.
So when you hear this, what do you think about that? Your son's in a public school, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you concerned that they're going to mess with his mind
yeah,
too?
that's why I'm always on him. I'm trying to work with. He's my stepson, so he has
So
a
you
different.
don't really care.
It's not that. He's my stepson.
He's not really my son.
He was.
No, I'm messing with
He was just in my life about 7 years ago.
Right.
So things. It was a little bit harder to raise him in a different way.
Speak into the microphone.
In a different way where I felt like the way God felt with strength. So it's a little bit tough it was tough for me to take over that job.
That's why parents are not supposed to bring step-parents into the lives of the children.
Yeah,
Children only want their
I
parents.
realize that now. I didn't know that when I.
Why
hopped
did
into
you
it.
know that before? Can you speak into the mic? How many times I got to tell you?
I'm sorry, it was a habit.
Oh.
So what was the
Nah.
question?
Why you didn't know that beforehand?
I was in the fallen state.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Are you concerned about him at school?
I am.
And let her have the mic for me. Yeah. You are concerned about it?
Yeah, it's the peer pressure. You know, no matter, we could only do what we think will be right, you know, guide him. But then it's the peer pressure. Everybody's not like us.
Right.
I mean, a lot of his friends or the parents are thinking totally different.
Yeah.
And those are his friends. So that's what we're concerned about.
Why not take him out? Are you-
What do you mean?
Can't you homeschool him or find a homeschooling group and work with him, because they're going to destroy him?
There's a lot of pros and cons, though. I mean, I am working full-time, and then we both have part-time jobs.
You're working full-time?
Yeah, I am.
And you both have part-time jobs?
Yeah, we both have full-time and part-time jobs. You know, Bay Area is really expensive.
Oh,
so,
up north there, huh?
yeah. So we have to do that. So there's a lot of pros and cons, you know, with what you're suggesting. But yeah, it's hard. I agree with what he's saying.
Yeah.
We thought about it.
You thought about
We
it?
thought about it, but
Then had a microphone.
we thought about it. But I think if we raise them the right way, I think you know, the school system won't take over him.
That's not true.
It's not true. I feel
And
like
the reason for that, and I understand what you're saying, and
Right.
that's supposed to work, right? But the school system is against parents and children. They're all working together to brainwash and destroy the children. And if you're not like heavily involved the way he's doing with his child now, and you guys are working, can't you cut back on something? Like move to a cheaper area or something like that? Because when he become a teenager, it's over.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a scary thought.
Yeah, and parents are supposed to watch over their children so that when they do go out into the world, they won't be taken over so easily by evil. That's the job of the parent, to be perfect, to watch over the children, protect them, because they were sent to us by God, right?
Right.
And you have a responsibility to watch over them. You can't have an excuse.
Yeah.
Because if you really, really think about it, you can move out of San Francisco. You don't have to live in that particular area. You can cut back, you can make sacrifices, and in the long run, you will be glad you did, because his soul will be saved.
It's a good way of putting it. Okay.
You disagree with that?
No, I agree with it. We just got to figure something out.
What do you think about that? Are you willing to make that ego sacrifice for him?
I don't think it's an ego sacrifice. It's
Well-
just...
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just that, yeah, there's a lot of things to consider, Jesse. I mean, I would love to like just not work and just, you know, focus with him, but we all have to work.
I know, but to work, both of you have full-time jobs, right? And part-time jobs. That says that the material things are too important for you. You're unwilling to cut back on the material things for the soul salvation. I could be wrong, because I don't know your business.
Right.
Am I wrong about that?
I think you're right. We just have to figure out ways on, you know, how to do it.
Yeah, because children of God, we don't need a lot. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, even if we're working 2 jobs, I don't even think it's a lot. But it's a lot of work. But
Right.
it's a lot of work with only this much, you know, that much pay.
Yeah.
But
Everything up there is so expensive anyway.
It's very
It's expensive all over California, but even worse. Thank you, buddy. He's like, put that mic up to him. Alpha male. He took the mic. San Francisco is ridiculous.
yeah.
And so the children of God, we're supposed to be in moderation in all that we do, not be like the world, not try to have what they have and all that. And now that you're overcoming that fallen state, I would recommend you look at those things that you don't really need right now. You know, I'm sure you can cut back on some stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Because
Thank
when you
you.
really, really, really think about it, you don't need that extra pair of shoes, or you don't need to go to that. You don't need this big old house for now, and you'll be satisfied a moderate home for now, because you can always upgrade if you want to when you get older. But to protect the son or the kids, period, is more important. Because they're going to steal him, they're going to destroy him. They are set out to do that now. And so To just say, oh, I got a word, I wish you well, he's not strong enough to fight against the wiles of the devil that coming through those people.
Right. Thank you.
And because after a while, he'll be 18, he'll be 15, 16. He's not going to want to listen to you guys because they're going to convince him that you're wrong and they're right. And he'll go against your values.
Yeah, we're kind of going through that now.
You are going through that now? In what way? If you can say.
Trying to guide him the right way, but I think I have a hard time influencing him in certain ways.
Right.
Right.
Because you're not the real father anyway, so it's
Exactly.
difficult. If all was
Right.
well at school, it would be difficult for him to listen to you because you're not the real father.
Right.
I had a stepfather, and he was a kind of he could be to me, nice, but my soul did not identify with him. It didn't matter what he did for me, right? My soul didn't identify, so I never really accepted him as my father. And he was a really nice guy. He worked hard. He and my mother had eight other children, and she never had to work. He went to work and provided, but I just never identified with him.
Right.
And I remember he was about to die, and I went back there to Indiana, and he said to me, they call me Punchy. He like, Punchy, when I die, make sure you watch over these other kids. They just as crazy as they want to be. And I was surprised to hear him say that because he respected me, and I didn't know it because all the other kids was having issues and things like that. But I didn't know he did. But it's hard raising a stepchild. So what?
I'm sorry, I have a question about that. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot of people who could relate in our situation. Is there any way that we could help them identify their stepfather, or how does that work? I mean,
To help them find their real father?
no, not find the real father, but to have that connection between the stepfather and
Oh, I see. To get along with the stepfather. Oh, just tell him not to resent him.
Okay.
And he's not trying to be their father. You know, he's there to help you and help provide and things like that, but he's not their father. And so when you deal with him, don't treat him as though you're daddy.
Right.
You know, you would treat him with respect and all that, be honest with him, but not like daddy. And he'll accept that eventually. My stepfather, me and my older sister got in a fight once when I was a little kid, and she started the fight, and then she went whining to him. Punch, you hit me, because when she hit me, I hit her back. I don't play that. If a woman hit me, she going down. You remember that, buddy? Don't let no woman hit you, all right? And so, even we were raised that way anyway. When girls hit their brothers and cousins and they would run to mama or daddy about it, the parents would say, oh, don't hit her. They say, you know what, you hit him, he should hit you. Go sit down. And so she hit me or something. We got in this fight, and I knocked her out. And she went and told my stepfather, her father, and he whooped me and not her. I held that against him for so long. Really, I held that because I knew he was wrong. And he wasn't my daddy. That's what really made the difference. I knew he was. My soul yearned for my real father. And so don't try to be daddy to him. Just be a good example and talk to him and try to guide him, but never try to be his father. You know what I mean? That makes sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah. How do you feel about him?
About him?
Uh-huh. You know his name?
Matt.
Matt. Do you ever say his name, or you just say, hey?
How do you call him?
I call him Uncle Matt.
Uncle Matt?
Yeah, he told me to call him that.
Speak into the microphone.
Yeah, he told me to call him that a long time ago.
Right on. So how do you feel about him?
That's a good question. Kind of like, I don't know, kind of like as a teacher.
As a teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't resent him, all right? Don't get mad. And when he tell you the right thing, appreciate it.
Okay.
But don't get mad at him for telling you the right thing, because Satan will tell you, oh, that's not your daddy. Don't listen to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't listen to that, because he really want to guide you. He want to help you. And you speak up, but just don't be angry, all right?
Okay.
Okay? Do you know your real father?
Yeah, but I haven't seen him before.
Why not? You never seen him at all?
Yeah.
What is that like? How you feel about that?
I kind of want to see him, but like, it's gonna be hard because he doesn't know like it's I should explain.
His,
He's like kind of affected by the devil and stuff.
He affected by the devil?
Yeah.
Everybody affected by the devil. What do you
But, like,
mean?
He doesn't
he's got his own family.
he's got like his own family and like his wife doesn't want him to see me. So that's kind of like a barrier between him and me.
Oh, man. And so did he say that or someone told you that?
My mom told me that.
Oh. Did you try to reach him or something? They won't let you?
Yeah, I email him often.
Often?
Yeah.
And he doesn't respond?
He does respond, but like he tries to keep it a secret.
Oh, he say, don't tell my wife?
He knows.
He know I know he just like he doesn't tell that to his wife
Oh, so how do you know he doesn't want his wife to know?
because like his wife will get mad and she'll like break up with him and she'll take the kids away.
Oh, amazing. And so what do you think, speak into the mic, what do you think about that?
If I like ever meet her, I'll just try to understand her. I won't try to get mad.
Right, don't get mad at her.
Yeah.
Because it's not her fault that your father's weak with her. It's his fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
That's too bad. I totally understand it. Forgive your father. He can't help it.
okay.
All right? It doesn't mean he doesn't love you. It's just that he cannot help. Can he contact you whenever he wants to?
Yeah.
He can?
He contacts me when I email him.
Oh, yeah? Do you have a FaceTime with him?
No.
Is it FaceTime or Skype? Whatever. Do you have a whatever with him?
Yeah. Well, I've called him one time.
Okay.
He's answered, but I don't think his wife was there at that time.
You don't think what?
I don't think his wife was there at that time.
Oh, good. Wow, that's hard on you, man. I totally understand it. It's hard on the kids going through all this mess. All this mess that we make growing up. Isn't that something? What a mess.
It is.
What a mess. Don't be angry about any of this mess.
Okay.
All right? Your parents love you. Your father love you. They just were crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And so that you don't repeat it, don't hold any anger against them. Forgive them.
Okay.
And learn to speak up, but just don't be angry. All right?
All right.
That way you don't meet a woman and make a baby and have the same problem. You won't go through the same thing. Your kids won't go through that. All right?
All right.
Amazing. You're a smart guy, though. Real smart, man. Nice. Well, whenever you can, let him talk to his father whenever he can. Yeah, don't keep him away at all.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, I appreciate that, buddy. You had your hand?
Yeah, I was just going to add on to your point about the schools and share this. The kids are in the school for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, right? And they're sitting in a chair like this, listening to people who do not love God
Yeah.
all day. And how long are they with us in that kind of conversation at night? Maybe an hour? It's not good odds. The numbers are not good. And
That's
what's going
right.
on at this, it's not like half of what's going on in school is okay. It's now, the social studies class is going hard at this. The English class, whatever they read, they're picking the books that they want to brainwash the kids with. When it comes to the, even like the math class now, it's like the word problems are around environmentalism, I'm serious. Yeah, they're every single class, they're spending all of the time at the level of the principal, trying to incorporate all of this into every single class. So the quality of education has gone to zero, and it's all the politics yeah. So the odds are not good. With 8 or 9 or 10 hours, and then we get an hour at night, maybe. The odds are not good. We can't let this happen. We got to make a decision.
And then on top of that, the kids are dealing with what's happening in the home between the father and the mother. The father and mother not getting along, so they're dealing with all that too. And then they're going to school and the teachers are brainwashing them with evil. It's hard on the kids like that. Parents need to make some sacrifices right now. Really. Fathers and mothers need to protect their children. Because these people are not playing. I've heard horror stories, man, that I never thought a teacher would do. I just never thought a teacher would deliberately brainwash the children. And I never imagined they would deliberately try to keep the parents away from their own children. You got to be high to do that. Do your teacher get high? No. Oh, here. That's an amazing story, man. Let me take you there, I'll take you. Yes.
I just wanted to add an example, just the school system. I started working at LAUSD this year, and the school where I was working, there was just one day where the students were talking, they're in 7th grade, they were talking amongst themselves, and they were talking about the health teacher, and the health teacher had told the boys that, 7th grade, that they could donate their sperm in the future to make money. And this is a
The teacher said that?
This is a 7th grade health teacher who is a lesbian, and she's putting these things to the kids. I told the kids, hey, that's not appropriate. You guys should be sharing this with your parents. And they told me that I was a prude and that was real life. This is the students telling me my response, that I think they should be sharing this information with their parents. So I've come to also realize that parents don't care either. There's a lot of parents that don't care either.
Parents do not care about their children.
So it's really unfortunate, just like how 7th grade kids are thinking even now. Yeah.
That's amazing. Our battle is a spiritual battle, and they're going after the children. Once they get them, it's over. Look at the Generation Z and millennials now. They're all corrupt. It's not uncommon for millennials to smoke pot and have sex anywhere like think it's nothing, because the schools are brainwashing them, demoralize them. And if you want to demoralize a nation, you got to demoralize the people. You demoralize them, you can control them. You can make them believe anything. And the parents are too busy working, and mothers are working, pretend to be a man. They don't care about the children. They don't make that sacrifice for the children. We're supposed to sacrifice for the children. In the good old days, families had lots of kids, right? I had one aunt, her husband had 16, 17, 18 kids, maybe 19, a couple died. But the mother stayed home and raised the kids while the father worked. They made the sacrifice. And now the kids are all doing well. And they bought homes, they got married, they're starting their families, because it begins in the home. And it's so important that the parents are perfect. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, so He can help you to raise your children. If that doesn't happen, this is what's going on. What a mess. So I really hope you guys find a way to make the sacrifice, because he's smart right now. That can change, and it will, because the teachers are not playing. And they got all kind of corrupt teachers in schools now. Men wearing dresses to school, women wearing pantsuit, pretending. Your kids have no business to be around. That's evil. That's hell on earth. They can't handle that. It's not in their spirit. The spirit is not strong enough. Even the adults are afraid of these people. That's why you don't see rallies in the streets about this stuff. The men and women are afraid of them. They're afraid of evil.